favorites, Titus and Nance.
Great game. 50 seconds to go. Hurts. Deep shot. Hold in, Devontae.
Sure. And before the press conferences even start. I mean, we could talk for 45 minutes just about how atrocious the defense is.
He's just picking the big guys. Jordan Mailata, he's huge. He'll be good later on. Josh Sweat, he's tall as hell and strong. Let's get him. We'll figure him out. It's working.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on DSM Media, live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You know the drill. Smash those like buttons, smash those share and retweet buttons. And if you're watching over on YouTube, which is the best way to interact with this show, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn the notifications on by hitting that little bell. By doing so, you'll never miss a minute of the action on DSM Media, which you don't want to do anyway. You never want to miss a minute of the action.
No.
We've got so many great shows. We figured out the shorts. We're doing TikToks over there on YouTube. We're doing so much, so make sure you hit that subscribe button as we hit that road to 500 as we continue to do that. And all shows on DSM Media were brought to you by Manscaped, the leader in men's grooming products, the GOAT in below-the-waist maintenance. Make sure you check them out. Manscaped.com. Use promo code TRENDING at checkout. It gets you 20% off, free shipping, and lets them know we sent you from this show. All right, got a jam-packed show. Lots to talk about today. But first, I got to introduce my special guest. Back from the disappearance, my former co-host, but now just temporary co-host this morning, Jeremy has decided to wake up on his day off to come join us. Good morning, Jeremy. How you doing?
I have. Good morning. I'm doing great. Stayed up watching the Sixers last night. Always fun. Definitely a great game. Sure, we'll get very deep dive into that. But I'm doing good. I'm really happy to be up this morning, getting back on to doing shows. Whole work schedule has been flipped from weird shifts, overnight mornings. So now we're back steady. So now more shows coming out. This is my first show back, so I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, I've been bouncing around with Jason, some other random guests, and it's good to have my original co-host back on this morning. Glad to have you. Like you said,
good to be back.
Yeah, we got to get into the Sixers game. We're going to talk a lot of different things. We're going to talk Sixers today, a little bit of other NBA content. Then we're going to dive into the Eagles and start talking about Eagles-Cowboys week, even though it's kind of an unsure week with what's going on with the Eagles. We'll talk a little bit about that. Some other trending topics around sports as well. But we got to start with the Sixers, of course. They won their fifth game in a row last night, 116-106 over the Orlando Magic. But, I mean, they won by 10 last night. But let's be honest, they didn't really win by 10. I mean, that was a really close nail-biter of a game that they separated in the last few moments of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you watched it last night. What was your biggest takeaway from that game last night?
I mean, I don't know if it would really be the biggest takeaway. This team coming together again while it's shorthanded. A lot of guys are still out again. I did like seeing Doc Rivers back. I mean, I know they were 2-0 while he was gone, but I still having Doc Rivers back. Well, to me, it's nice to have. But my biggest takeaway is Korkmaz in the second half. He had a great second half because when I was watching in the first, I was like, okay, this is something I'm going to be talking about. Like Korkmaz really struggling. If we lose this game, this is someone that I wouldn't pin on, but this would be a reason why, because he wasn't doing much in the first half. But that second half, he came out. He scored 15 in the second half. And he had 20 total points. So he scored 75% of his points in the second half. He really stepped up when we needed to. But just as a whole team aspect, I mean, four 76er players scored 20-plus points last night. You know what I mean? So to me, it was just a pretty good overall team effort. Of course, I'd like to see more.
I got a question on Korkmaz there for you. And I was kind of thinking about it a little bit, right before we went on the air. And I don't know. I haven't done a deep dive. It literally popped into my head 5 minutes before the show started. And I was looking. I mean, he's got two straight 20-plus games, 44 points over his last two games. And he's back in the starting lineup. And it's great to see him bust out because he went into a really big slump. Could Furkan Korkmaz just be one of those guys? Because I don't know if you remember back when Dario Saric was still with the Sixers, back in the process era. He was a starter, and he was a really strong fourth option as a starter. Am I getting a little feedback there? I don't know what I did there. But they moved Saric to the bench at one point, and I don't remember the exact details. And all of a sudden, he became this not so good player anymore. Then they moved him back into the starting lineup, a couple dozen games later, and all of a sudden he was back to being a really good player. I wonder if Furkan Korkmaz is just one of those guys that needs to be part of the starting group, even if he only plays. I mean, he played 40 minutes last night because of necessity, which is not good because that's the reason why he went into his slump last time, anyways, because he was playing 40 to 45 minutes, 7-8 games in a row. Then all of a sudden he just fell off a map.
Exactly.
But is Furkan maybe a guy that just has to be in the starting lineup in the first and the third quarter to get his rhythm going? I mean, it's just something that I don't know. Is it maybe the stats don't really back it up? I'm not sure. It's just something that came into my head that maybe that's the case.
No, yeah, I mean that definitely could be a possibility. All guys play in different ways. They find a rhythm easier or in different ways than other guys do, and it could be something that Korkmaz does. Is that a reason to start him for a long time? No, not at all. He's not that different kind of player when he starts to where he's going to drop 40 when he starts and he is terrible off the bench. But during this shorthanded kind of stuff, I mean, yeah, sure. To throw him in the starting lineup. I mean, he's doing his thing. He's doing right now. He is the best option to start right now. He really is.
And speaking of that, I want to say, I mean, you said that the Sixers are shorthanded, and I was posting about how poor the performance was at certain points against the Magic, and people were coming at me on Twitter saying, "Well, the Sixers are shorthanded." Look, they're missing two guys that really matter to COVID protocols, Maxey and Matisse, and they're two huge pieces. Absolutely, I agree. Shake's out with a knee or a back issue, and B-Ball Paul is out on the look. Let's be honest. They're only really missing two players right now. That really, really matter. They still have Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, and Seth Curry all in their lineup right now starting. So while they're missing players, and they are missing two very important players, let's be honest, those three guys that are still in the starting lineup should be plenty and more than enough.
Yeah.
Completely dominate a 7 and let's remind you, they are 7-32, the Orlando Magic. They've won 2 games this year at home, and they were winning this game for good portion. There are multiple 15-4, 16-6 runs that they went on last night. The Sixers are 21-16 right now. The Magic are 7-32, and we almost lost them. So I don't want to hear the excuses that Matisse and Maxey were out, because let me tell you, Joel Embiid, Seth Curry, and Tobias Harris should be enough altogether, to lead the rest of the troops to it. So I'm on the other side of the equation. I thought it was not a good performance in a win last night.
Right, I don't think it's that great a performance or even a very good performance, but it's a performance that was needed. I mean, right now at this point, I mean, yeah, I know you say it's only 2 people, but again, it is 2 very important people, and the fact that now their backup point guard Shake Milton was out, and you had to start Furkan at point guard. I don't know, that's the thing where I don't want to give anyone any excuses or anything like that. But again, there's no reason we shouldn't have beat them by more last night, even with the guys out. But that's the thing. At least we got the win. I'm not trying to quote Doc Rivers like we won the game, didn't we? It doesn't matter how. I don't want to do all that. But at this point, that's kind of where I'm at. Would I like to see them do more? Of course. That's something that we're always going to do. But at least they got the job done. Embiid played a little bit less minutes last night too, didn't he?
He played 33 last night. Played 30 the night before, or the game before. Still another 30-plus point performance. Only 5 rebounds. They seem to have a little trouble there with Mo Bamba and those bigs of Orlando, which is kind of great. I mean, Mo Bamba looked like Joel Embiid last night, the way he was playing, knocking down threes.
Yeah.
Court. I mean, it was crazy.
He's putting it up.
Yeah, he put up some numbers last night for sure.
Yeah.
Tobias Harris semi broke out of his slump a little bit last night. 22 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, a couple steals, a couple blocks. He didn't shoot lights out, 9 of 19, but he took shots, and he took confident shots. So it was nice to see Tobias playing well as well. And the bigger part of Tobias wasn't just that he played decently last night, was that he realized that he probably overstepped a little bit when he called out the fans with the clapback hat. I called it on Tuesday, the clapback herd around Philly, because of him shouting off and mouthing off to the fans. But he kind of backed it off a little bit. I mean, he said, look, he didn't say the words, I apologize, but he said, look, I love the Philly fans. I know I'm struggling. It's frustrating, blah, 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 and those kind of things. So it was nice for him to, have a nice little bounce back game last night, but also kind of in a roundabout way say, little olive branch to the fans.
Yeah. No, it's Tobias Harris has gotten a lot of hate. I mean, you see it all over social media. Just everything going crazy about it. I'm not really on the train about it. I mean, it's whatever, but I've just seen it everywhere. Tobias, he's always gonna be figuring it out. He's a really good player. But yeah, last night he definitely figured it out. I mean, dropping 22, 9 boards, shot well, 9 of 19. He played a good game. He played the part that he had to play. And I know I don't like being on the bandwagon where it's like, but he should have done more. Like the Sixers should have done more last night. Tobias, in that situation, he probably should have done more. But again, in the end, all the guys came together and we still got the win.
Yep, absolutely. I have two more major topics to discuss from that game. One's a shorter topic. Last game, and again, I know it's because we're shorthanded, especially in the backcourt with Matisse being out, Maxey being out, Shake being out. But Isaiah Joe in the last game put up quite good numbers, played 20-some minutes. And Isaiah Joe, I believe he was the first man off the bench last night in the game. And he made his first shot. Unfortunately, he got injured and was taken out. And I'm hoping it's not serious. They're saying it was a back of leg soreness that they held him out for. But with that shorthandedness that the team had, it must have been a little bit more serious than they were leading on to, because they're not going to be precautionary with a guy like Isaiah Joe if it's just a minor little thing, right, when you're that basically forced you down to a 7-man rotation. But I was really happy to see Doc go ahead and go right to Isaiah Joe in the first quarter, because gaining a little confidence in him, and he's a guy we've been preaching about on this show and other shows about when Furkan Korkmaz has an off night, when Yang's has an off night. Joe is a guy you need to go out there and throw and have the confidence to put him out there for 5-10 minutes. See if he can get a shot going, because if he gets his shot going, the guy could put up 18 points in a blink of an eye. So it was really nice to see, and I really hope that Isaiah Joe's – I didn't even see the injury or where it occurred. I just saw he was in, and then all of a sudden I noticed he never came back in the game. It's a guy that I want to see Doc have some form of confidence in going forward as a key rotational piece for the Sixers.
I mean, yeah, this is something that we've been talking about for I don't even know how long. Just even Sixers fans in general, they always pick a guy off the bench, and that's their guy. Isaiah Joe is kind of the guy that has fallen into that role for the Philadelphia fans, and definitely a lot of guys over here at DSM Media even. But I mean, I don't want it to be that big again. I don't want us to make Isaiah Joe the next, the next big thing.
Okay, I got you. No. We're not making
right.
it the next big thing.
No.
He's still the 10th guy when everybody's healthy, in my opinion, the 11th guy.
Right.
There are the nights where Furkan goes over. There are the nights where, some of these guys, Shake doesn't have his stuff. There's games where Furkan's 0 for 7 and he gets pulled out and he gets put back in. Instead of putting him back in, you put Isaiah Joe in, see if he's got it. If not, he continues. He's the last guy on your bench. You know what I mean? But I want to see in these moments when they're shorthanded, Doc gaining confidence in him so that he doesn't have to keep going back to Furkan on Furkan's off night. So he doesn't have to keep going back to Shake or whoever else it may be when they're having an off game. And that's just what I want to continue to see, that confidence going right to him.
Right, and that is something that I do agree with. I just don't want it to get to a point where it gets too far, and then when he has,
why did we trade Tony Bradley for George Hill, or why is it Norvell Pele, the starting center on this team anymore? And I mean, I know the Sixers, it's Sixers and backups is the same to practice squatters with the Eagles. The Paul Turner syndrome at wide receiver a few years back.
Yeah,
come on now. Fans definitely jump the gun and go a little overboard on some of these guys.
Yeah, but he is someone that I would like to see more of. Again, just like you said, when Korkmaz maybe isn't playing so well that day, throw in Joe for a little bit, see what he can do. I mean, I like it. I wish we'd do it with more players, especially during this whole shorthanded business. I mean, the last time this COVID outbreak happened, we were praying for Springer to get on the court. We just every morning, Springer needs to get in there. Springer needs to get in there. Yeah, give him a shot. And while this is going on with more COVID and just Shake Milton with an injury, and I mean, I would love to see Joe in there a little bit more. Hopefully Doc Rivers will maybe do that.
The injury's not serious as well.
Yeah, exactly. That too.
That's the key there. Actually, I realize I have one more thing to say about the game before we get to the really big fun topic of the game that I want to talk about. Danny Green, 24 minutes, 0 of 2 shooting, 0 of 2 from 3. 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 0 turnovers, 1 personal foul, minus 13 minutes, 0 points. So basically, the only part of a box score that he showed up on was the personal foul and the fact that he took and missed 2 shots. That's not good enough for 24 minutes from Danny Green.
No, that's not good enough from anyone for 24 minutes.
If me and you, I mean, I don't know what he makes exactly contract-wise, but I know I could put up a stat line like that.
Oh, yeah.
I could go and put that up on an NBA stat line.
You know what? I'll even get more fouls.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to utilize my 24 minutes and get 6 fouls there. Yeah.
No,
Although I won't pull a pal and do the what's the capital of Thailand as an opposing player. I know you saw that. You messaged the DSM group right away when it happened.
Well, look, so going through that play, just real quick, I saw Cole Anthony. He was just running down the court and he puts up a shot, and I see him fall to the ground, and I'm like, dude, like, what is he falling for? Is he? I was like, is he flopping when no one was there? Like, what's going on? And then I see the replay, and it's just Powell is just. Like I don't know what happened with Powell there. Very weird moment. And I texted right in the group chat. I'm like, did Powell really just do that? What is going on?
Yeah, KC TNT Productions. He's saying he's good for 1 point, my man KC. Dude, I don't know if I'm good for 1 point, but I guarantee if you put me out there for 24 minutes, I'm going to accidentally get 1 rebound. I am.
It's going to land.
When I was growing up, I grew up in some parts in the Ridley Delco area. You know, I was the Clarence Weatherspoon for the old school Sixers fans. I was the spoon. I was the smaller guy that played small forward, power forward, that got the rebounds, did the dirty work. Dude, I'm guaranteeing you, I'll go get 1 rebound in 24 minutes. The ball will accidentally bounce to me at some point, and I'll get a rebound. I guarantee it. You have to try to get 0 rebounds, 0 points, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 0 not even a turnover in 24. I could easily turn it over. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
he definitely can.
He knows what I'm talking about with the Clarence Weatherspoon talk there. I am the Clarence Weatherspoon of Ridley when I was playing growing up. He was also my favorite player in that early mid '90s Sixers teams there. All right, so
you are comparing yourself to Clarence Weatherspoon right now.
Yeah, I am. I'm a small, chubby guy that does the dirty work, man. That's what I did on the court.
Oh man!
Look, I don't want to get into this too deeply, but look, the courts I played on were heavily. I was the only white guy playing. Let's just call it that way on the courts. So you have to earn your right to play on those kind of courts.
Yeah.
You know, and they weren't going to let me take shots. I had to earn that. So for 2 summers straight, man, all I did was the dirty work for 2 straight summers, and then I was allowed to shoot. Then they saw me shoot, and they're like, "Yeah, get back to doing the dirty work. We don't want you shooting anymore." So last night, something very interesting. So we were down somewhere in the third quarter. We were getting blown out. We were up 3 at half. They went on like a 16-4 run. They were up like 11-12. Dude, I got bored. I had a tiring long day traveling home from Orlando. I was tired. So I turned the game off for a few minutes. I went, I did some unpacking, did some other odds and ends. Then I come back. I turn the game on. We're only down 5. But the lineup that was on the court when I turned it back that made their run, you had Furkan Korkmaz running the point. I guess George Niang was the 2 guard. Tobias Harris was the 3. And you had Embiid and Drummond. You had 5 guys that are all power forwards or centers or small forwards all out there on the court at the same time. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. And somehow magically it worked and led us back to take the lead in that game. Have you ever seen a lineup with Embiid, Drummond, Yang, Tobias Harris, and anything like that remotely ever in a game?
All I know is that the Rockets are pissed we even have that many forwards and centers. Because I know they're pissed about it. No, it was very odd. I mean, the fact that it worked, again, I'm gonna give Doc Rivers the credit. That's kind of where I have to be. I mean, if we're gonna go down, if we're gonna be mad at Doc Rivers for some mistakes he makes, we need to support him when he makes good decisions. Somehow, I mean, there's nothing that I would have thought of.
I literally did a double take. I turned the game back on after my few minute break. I'm like, oh, they're down 5 only now. Okay, that's good. And I look on the court. I'm like, is that Joel? And I'm like, hold on. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
The instant thing I tweeted out right away. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Everyone's like, it's working. I'm like, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. It worked. Absolutely. They needed the rebound and they were struggling rebounding. But I can't say that. I hope Doc Rivers does not go back to that regularly because, no offense, I do not think that's something that's a matchup. You were struggling against Mo Bamba, and on all the bigs from Orlando. It's definitely something that can't work every single game against every single team. But man, that took some guts to put that lineup out there. Absolutely. And I'm glad it paid off, because can you imagine if it didn't pay off? The talk around, fire Doc Rivers and this and that would be going on right now.
Right. And that's wwhy talks of that entire move, it hasn't been crazy. If it didn't work, this would be all over the place. I mean, it would be all over. You'd probably see a hashtag fire Doc, just some crazy stuff, but it worked. And yeah, I get it. Like, you don't have to show love to every little good thing that someone does. But again, the amount of bad talk that happens throughout Philly, I know it's kind of like a lazy narrative and everything, but
yes, come on, let's not get into my lazy narrative there.
Yeah, I know, but still, I'm happy Doc made a good move. I mean, I judged it when I saw it, and I was like, what are you doing? But I was proven wrong. I'm happy he made some sort of move. He didn't just stay there. Again, just like how I say with Nick Sirianni, Jonathan Gannon, he adjusted. I love it when the coach adjusts, and at least they're trying something. They're not sitting back and hoping it works. They're adjusting, getting the win, playing better ball. And look at that. We came away with the win. It worked. Don't know why.
Don't know why. Don't know how it worked.
No
saying that Drummond and Embiid next to each other is a lot different than Horford and Embiid. Absolutely agree with you on that.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Andre Drummond is still a quality player in the NBA. He could be starting on some, not contending teams, but he could be starting on an NBA team right now still, I think. But yeah, they might complement themselves a little bit more. But I won't say, and I will never get behind the fact that lineups like that work long term or multiple times. It worked because we were shorthanded last night. It worked
exactly.
because of the matchup issues that we're having against their rebounders. But looking at it's a great transition to the rest of the schedule. At least the upcoming schedule. We've now won 5 in a row. We've climbed up to 5th in the East now. Only 2 games back of the 4th spot now, and we've got. And I know it's been talked about. We've got a super easy schedule here in January. And I said it with Jason a few shows ago that I wanted to see. So that it's starting, I guess I can't remember when it was, whether it was the Houston game. No, so it was starting last night. They had 14 games. I wanted to see 10 or 11 wins in the next 14 games. So now you got San Antonio on Friday. Then you got Houston on Monday, after 2 days off. Then you got Charlotte. Then you got Boston and Miami. Then you got Washington, Orlando. You got San Antonio again, New Orleans. You got Sacramento at the end of the month. I mean, literally, this schedule coming up, it's
their chance.
If this is their chance to make a move in the East, they've won 5 in a row. They should beat San Antonio on Friday. They should beat Houston and Charlotte. They could easily get an 8-game winning streak going there. Whether they beat Boston and Miami and Washington, following that up, that's the toughest 3-game stretch of the month and all.
Yeah.
But man, they really need to use this momentum that they've got right now, not just the 5 games in a row. Joel scoring 30-plus points a game almost what's that, 5 nights in a row that he's got over 30 points. They need to continue to build off of this and really grasp, this easy stretch of the schedule, right?
Yeah, definitely. This is kind of the time where you make a huge move, get yourself way up in the East, get some distance between the lower tier teams. Because this is the time to do it, because you never know again when something will happen, especially this year with COVID. You never know. So every game really does count. Every game counts right now, even more because of this COVID situation. Hopefully these guys will come back soon. I know from the CDC, guys don't have to quarantine 10 days anymore. It's 5 days. So guys can come back a lot sooner, as long as they are still not having symptoms and they get their negative tests and everything. So hopefully these guys can come back even sooner than normal. I would love that. And that would make this road trip even easier, or at least it should give us more confidence when these guys come back. But even if not, we still should be getting a lot of these wins without these guys. Just like you said about this Magic game, we should still be getting wins with these 3 guys. I mean, they kind of are like the core of this team anyway.
They are this team's big 3, if you want to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of Maxey. You can kind of interchange Maxey into that big 3 there conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
But they are your big 3. We've talked about it. Me and Jason have talked about it. That really, it's the 1-2 Embiid Curry. That's how the offense it flows through Curry, not Tobias.
Mm-hmm.
And it should. I know the fans are all over Tobias, but let's be honest. Tobias isn't a number 2 option on a contending team. Tobias is best suited when he's a 3 and a 4. So right now, unfortunately, it's got to run through Curry and Embiid the offense, and when Maxey comes back, Maxey a little bit as well. But that's where his team is. But Joel just needs to keep playing. As I put up as the initial comment of the show, if you want to interact with the show, you get on YouTube, and I put the opening comment: Joel MVP. That's playing like, and that's what he's got to play like right now.
Yeah, no, he definitely does. And the thing is, I don't think he's upset about that because he likes getting fed the ball. I mean, I saw in the first quarter, they were feeding Embiid when he was on the court. And I kept on hearing the announcers. They're like, that's what you got to do when your guy is on fire. Feed him the ball. There's no reason not to. And Embiid right now, he's on fire. Most of the damn time he is. But right now he is really on
games, 30+ points.
Exactly. So you keep on feeding him. He's going to be the reason why we win games at this point. If Embiid has a bad day, no one's going to step up as much as Embiid can. So he needs to keep this up a lot. I know he's going to be having his rest days coming up at some point. He always has some. So we'll see how we see how we.
You know what I love about Embiid's game last night? I mean, he struggled rebounding the ball. He seemed to have a little trouble with Mo Bamba and some of the bigs from Orlando last night defensively. Maybe he wasn't as aggressive defensively, but he took 22 shots last night. Okay,
yeah.
Made 12 of 22. That's decent percentage. But what I love about his game last night, he only took 2 3-point shots last night.
Yeah,
that means he's not selling for that outside shot. Yeah, I don't love him being that point. They called him a point center last night. Him picking the ball up and just taking it all the way to the. You can't win with him doing that regularly. You need to let him get down low, then feed him the ball. But him not selling for those outside shots is something that I'm absolutely in love with seeing. It's something we've been preaching since the day he got here. To stop taking those shots.
Yeah. No, I mean, to me, it's whatever. I mean, I don't want him taking a lot of those shots, but that's the thing. What makes Embiid really good is that he can do that anyway. Putting up just a few little shots, it changes everything. It changes everything in the game of basketball because he might just do it, and then you're gonna have to go guard him up at the 3-point line, and against big guys, he can get around them real quick. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's kind of how I view it. But yeah, for the most part, I would love to see him more down low, just feeding him down there and be just.
And there's Drew's bringing up an interesting point here, and I if you make the right move, Embiid will be even better off. That's true. And I wanted to bring up, I saw some people and us going on a 5-game winning streak, Embiid scoring 30+ points 5 games in a row. I saw somebody tweet out, I'm not going to call them out or anything like that, that now they don't have to make a Ben Simmons move right away because the team's playing too good. Don't as fans force Daryl Morey's hand into making a less than perfect move for Ben Simmons. I think that's an awful take because, I hope Daryl Morey isn't seeing the success the last 5 games and Embiid's played the last 5 games. And it's like, all right, well, now I can hold off. Now I can wait till the offseason and see if I can get, James Harden or something like that. I still want to see a move made with that Ben Simmons trade piece as soon as possible because, this 5-game winning streak to me shows that we are still a really good team, and making one strong move can be the difference between us being a first-round exit or making a run at the Eastern Conference. If it's the right move. And I really am still hardcore on board that new move needs to happen soon, so that we have time to see what other moves need to be made by that February 10th trade deadline. I don't know. What do you think?
So kind of also what I actually want to ask you is like, at what point is it to where it's not a good move anymore? Like I know we'd all like to see Ben Simmons go sooner rather than later, but if it's not the right move, I don't want to say I'd like to hold off because I want this to happen as soon as possible. But there's a certain limit. I mean, where is that limit for you?
Right. I mean, well, yeah, the moves. I mean, but you got to see. I'm sure. I mean, Sacramento. Everybody talks Sacramento. If you're getting Halliburton, Fox, or Buddy Hield as part of a package, not as the straight up deal, but as part of a package, that's a good enough move. If you're getting CJ McCollum and other things in a 3-team trade, it's good enough. There was talks with Brogdon in Indiana earlier in the year. Well, now he can't because he signed his extension. There are certain levels. You're not going to get an all-pro top 5 guy for Ben Simmons. You're just not.
No.
Okay. But if you're getting a borderline all-star, I know my man Sean Bernard, I had him on a week or two ago. He was tweeting about Brandon Ingram yesterday, about bringing in Brandon Ingram as the main piece. I'm all on board for that, because that's what you need. You got to go out and get a Brandon Ingram level type player, and or whether it's Halliburton, Fox, something, and you could literally turn this season around from a disappointing first or second round exit into a title not a title contending team, but an Eastern Conference title contending team. But we got to have faith that Morey does it. I see him saying I trust Morey's judgment, but I still don't. I don't want this to drag on all season and into the next offseason, because then you're wasting another season of Joel Embiid. Because if you don't make a move, it's basically, we talk about the dead cap space the Eagles have this year and how great the Eagles are overachieving with that dead cap space.
Yeah.
But you're wasting Joel's season. You basically have $35 million in dead cap space right now that's wasting away on the Sixers. So you need to make some form of a move at this point.
Right. But if we can't get that big, even as big as a move as you are saying, those kind of moves, if we can't make that move, would you even go even lower? Like, hey, fine, to just get rid of them?
No. You got to get something. And let's be honest, I think you still can. I think Morey's probably got offers on the table, for levels that we're talking about, that borderline all-star level player. He's just playing hard-nosed, businessman, trying to get the max value. But I think he might be trying to hold on too hard, because I wanted Dame Lillard. Some people want Jaylen Brown, whoever it is, whoever the top elite guys are that you could have traded. I know he's connected with James Harden a lot, Daryl Morey. I still think he's trying way too hard to hold out for one of those massive names, and I just don't think it's realistic.
Well, kind of just like how Scotty's comment is down there, but say we do hold off and we do make a move like that. Say we do get a top tier guy like that. I would rather something like that. I mean, he says if you make a minimal move, that would be wasting 3 to 4 years. Well, if say we hold off and we do get someone like James Harden, now we're not wasting any more years of Joel Embiid.
Yeah, I mean, James Harden really the player he used to be?
Probably not, but I mean, just
I'm not a James Harden fan. I mean, I think down the last year or two, he's starting to just slow down. He's still a great elite player, but I think he's hit his peak already and is on the second half of his career.
The level that I'm at with James Harden, I was very against trading Ben Simmons for James Harden before all this happened. Looking back at it now,
oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I think that if there's any way, say we can get Harden and say we have to hold off, but we're getting Harden, I'm fine with, this 1 year being held off, because this is a lot. Even though we are a really good team, this is a huge developmental year for the Sixers. I don't know if that one more piece really makes us a title contender. I really don't. But I do think that if we do it all through the offseason, which again, I prefer not to, but if we do, and we do get one of those favorites, one of like them top tier guys, I mean, I would love it. I really would.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I just don't want to waste. I'm in the boat that don't want to waste. I get it.
Yeah.
But I guess we have to have faith in Daryl Morey, because I mean, he's done it before. He's made big moves before in his career. So we'll see. But anyway, yeah. I mean, the Sixers' next game, like I said, is Friday night against San Antonio. We'll see how they do on Friday night. They should win, and then, like I said, they got the weekend off till Houston on Monday. So that's that. Real quick, to wrap up NBA talk, I do want to talk about for a brief second the Nets beating the Pacers last night, and Kyrie Irving, because that's a name a lot of people have talked about. Would you trade Ben Simmons for Kyrie Irving? And even though he has to sit out in certain cities and stuff like that, yeah, you're not going to get Buddy Hield and Fox. That would just be, that backcourt didn't work in Sacramento. Why would it work here? I don't know. You get one or the other. You get Halliburton, and you get some other pieces in a three-team deal, Drew. But you don't take Buddy and Fox, because then you're taking Maxey and Curry off the court. But the Nets last night, Kyrie Irving came back, first game all year, and played 32 minutes and dropped 22 points with no hesitation. Hasn't played a single game all year. Yeah, let me just go play tonight and just drop 22, no problem. Are you cool with the Nets letting him play half the games, or maybe half the games the way he does? I mean, obviously they need him, and obviously he's so talented he can go without playing for the entire season and just come in on a whim. And he just got on the COVID list last week, so he also got COVID on top of it all, and he just comes out and drops 22. Just goes to show how great of a player Kyrie Irving is. Yeah,
I don't know if I would say I'm cool with the Nets letting him. It's whatever. Not really up to me whether I have an opinion on it or not. It's whatever. But going to just how Kyrie is, he's a great basketball player. I mean, but the thing is that if you wanted Kyrie over in Philly. I mean, if you're expecting to get Ben Simmons out so we don't have drama, I mean, you are looking at the wrong place. I do love Kyrie Irving. I mean, he was that guy growing up, for me at least. He was that guy growing up where he's just one of the best, one of the best guards. He was the handles guy. He's just a really good basketball player. So he's gonna be a huge difference maker over there in Brooklyn. When he's actually able to play. But man, the fact he came in, not playing all season, playing 32 minutes, dropping 22 like it was nothing. I mean, dude, he's a stud.
I mean, they've lost. The Nets have lost. They've fallen out of the number 1 seat. The Bulls, in their 8-game winning streak, has taken over the number 1 seat in the East. So, I mean, the Nets, hypothetically speaking, need Kyrie Irving and his offensive potential. So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It really is crazy. The other thing in the game, my man Lance Stevenson, he's got to be like 75 years old. It feels like he's been in the NBA for 30 years. He dropped 32 off the bench, but he put 20 up in 1 quarter last night. Lance Stevenson is like one of the worst offensive scorers. But then all of a sudden, at random times against big teams, against big games, he just decided, I'm going to play tonight. And he just goes lights out. He had a fadeaway 3-pointer at the buzzer at the end of the quarter to seal 20 points in that quarter. It was insane. I just thought I had to throw a little Lance Stevenson, love. Plus, since he blows in LeBron's ear whenever he guards him.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
That's literally the only reason why I like Lance Stevenson. But yeah,
when he faces them top tier guys like LeBron or KD, that's the time where Lance Stevenson's best. That's when he's best. And yeah, that statement right there, Scotty.
It's actually really good. Really good. I didn't see him make that statement.
Yeah,
that's a really great statement right there.
Yeah, it really is. There really isn't much of a difference. Again, just like I said, it's whatever. I don't really have an opinion on it. That this is the best part-time player you're gonna get. This is the best part-time player you're gonna get. So we're gonna use him. He's gonna play great. I mean, he went to Brooklyn for a reason with that whole 3 guys, KD, Kyrie, and James Harden, and them 3 in the court all together. It's scary.
Exactly, Scotty. Who did
something major award?
Lance Stevenson. It's between Lance Stevenson and Powell with the ball tap heard around the world. That's who did something major last night. One or the other. I'm going to have to vote Lance Stevenson right there for that one.
Or Cole Anthony.
Straight. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the guy he's not a good player. He's not a great NBA player. He's been in the league for 3,000 years. But, man, it was crazy to see that last night for him. Trying to take some of the thunder away from, Kyrie Irving there last night. I love it.
Definitely.
I love it. Absolutely. All right, so let's transition. We talked good 40 minutes there of Sixers talk there. So I want to talk real quick, get the Eagles talk started for the week. I didn't do a show last night or yesterday, so I want to get you started. I mean, it is Eagles Dallas, yeah. How can you forget about that? I mean, seriously. Yeah, I mean, he asked him what the capital of Thailand was, Scotty. I guess he did not know.
Wow, he did.
Cole Anthony's like, what? No, what is the capital of Thailand? It's like, oh, it's Bangkok. Okay. So we're going to go old school jokes here. 6th grade level jokes on trending right here. Maybe 5th grade jokes. I don't even know. But anyway, it's Eagles Cowboys week. It's week 18, the first week 18 ever. And have I ever been this little pumped up for an Eagles Cowboys game as I am this week? And the answer is no.
Yeah. I'm not ecstatic about it, but all the time, dude, it's Dallas week. I mean, I'm even all over the DSM TikTok page, and I'm just talking bad on Dallas. It's Dallas week. Let's take out the trash, everything like that. I mean, I know it's not the same level. It's not a very important game I mean, it's kind of important for them, but it's not really important to us. Where it's not going to change us much. So it's whatever. To me, it's still beat Dallas week. I'm still very excited. Just, yes, it's not at the level as, earlier this year even, or just the past couple of years. But it's whatever. It's always just beat Dallas week.
You still want to go out there and do this to Dallas, right?
Yes.
Basically, right? Yeah. You just want.
That's all I want.
I got to add one sound effect to every single show, just so you know.
No, I love it. I love it.
We haven't done any shows since I got a soundboard. There's
I'm
one
jealous.
sound effect. At least, whether it's that or that. There's one sound effect every single week, every single episode.
I love it.
So, so Mike McCarthy, coach of the Cowboys, has said, he's playing his starters. I don't necessarily believe that. I think maybe his starters at least dress. Someone like, Ezekiel Elliott, who's been banged up for like 7 years now. I can't see him playing in the game. The offense did not move really smoothly last week against the Cardinals. So I could see Mike McCarthy playing at least Dak and Cooper and a couple of the guys, but not for the whole game like he claims he's going to. On the other side, the Eagles have not made any statement whatsoever.
Well,
Nick Sirianni said, we have not made any, decision on what we're doing. But you can kind of look at the tea leaves. You can kind of look at the practice. I know they got a dozen plus guys on the COVID list.
Yeah.
But, couple like yesterday at practice, one offensive lineman from the starting unit was practicing, and that was Jordan Mailata. Two of the guys are on COVID. I believe it's Kelsey and is it Johnson. The other guys just didn't practice because they're banged up, Dickerson and Herbig.
Mm-hmm.
You're running out, Anderson, Opeta, you're running guys that, they're your third stringers.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts was a limited walkthrough, and that was it. Didn't really throw the ball or do any real things. If you read between the tea leaves, in my opinion, I don't think that there's any expectation to play any of the starting five offensive linemen. Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Miles Sanders has already been ruled out. Jordan Howard, you could see he was still suffering from that stinger. A lot of these guys, I believe firmly that a lot of these guys not only won't play, but won't even dress on Sunday.
Yeah, probably not. If this COVID outbreak didn't happen, we'd be having a whole different conversation. We'd be not even sure. But right now with COVID, I think that really pushes the limit. I think that it wasn't really up to us to decide if we would start starters or not. I don't think it's up to management. I think that people got COVID. And they're like, you know what? We don't have to think about this anymore. Starters are out. Starters are out.
Right.
They did. They did.
And the other side of the equation of it is the ones that didn't get COVID. Do you really want to put them at? Honestly, Jalen Hurts, I wouldn't even have him in the locker room this week. He could do all his meetings with the team virtually. Keep him out of the stadium. I don't want anything. Just because 12 guys got it doesn't mean 12 more guys can't get it.
Yeah.
I want everybody healthy, but I also want everybody staying away from COVID because come playoff time, we've joked about it on Overreaction Mondays and stuff, but this team could be a scary team come playoff time. Will they beat Tampa Bay or whoever they play in the first round? Probably not, but they sure as hell could be competitive. They sure as hell can, put a scare into one of these teams. And who knows? Ball bounces the right way. You get a pick six. You get some crazy play happens, and then you win the game. And there's been crazier things that have happened in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I want this team 110% healthy. And I know some people say you want to keep the momentum going. You want to keep the positive juices flowing.
Screw that.
But the Eagles suck in the first quarter. They suck in the second quarter. If you play your starters for the first half, what good is playing them for the part of the game that you suck in anyway really going to do? So, to me, I'm keeping everybody that's even remotely important to this team off the field on Sunday. I'm not letting them handshake Cowboys after the game. I'm not letting them interact with people, reporters in the locker room. I'm not doing any of that. I'm keeping everybody safe and healthy for that first round of the playoffs.
I'm with you. I'm actually 100% with you. These guys, we cannot risk injury, COVID, anything. If we want even a remote chance to win a playoff game against any of these crazy good teams, we need to keep these guys away. Usually, I'm usually on board to let some of the starters play a little bit. Like if they're on a hot streak, let them play for the first half, let them keep it up a little bit. At this point, no, not at that at all. I mean, I don't want Jalen Hurts getting hurt. As much as I mess around with him and everything, he's the starting quarterback of this team, no matter what. That whole Minshew thing was weird when it happened. Even like our running backs, like Miles Sanders is out, Jordan Howard, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be out. So it's gonna be like a Boston Scott might even be out. Yeah. Kenny G might be the only running back on the roster.
Protected 4 guys. It's the first time all year that they've protected 4 guys, and then because of COVID, they're allowed to call up as many guys as they want. You're going to see 12 practice squad guys dressed probably this week. Huntley, Kerryon Johnson, who they brought back, a week or two ago. Yeah, I mean, it's a practice squad week, right?
That's fine. And honestly, I'm okay with that. And as much as I'd love to beat Dallas, and I'm still going to be cheering as if I'm cheering for all the starters and everything like that. Bench the guys, let them stay healthy for the playoffs because this is something that we didn't even expect. And let's just see how far we can get. I mean, the last time I doubted the Eagles was 2017 when Carson Wentz went down. And look what the hell happened. I'm not saying it's going to be like that. This is even a whole different level because that team was still stacked. But I'm excited.
And how can you not? I mean, let's be honest. So right now, there's 8 different scenarios that can play out for the NFC, for matchups and stuff like that.
It's crazy.
5 of the 8 different scenarios have the Eagles playing Tampa Bay. So and then one scenario says Cowboys, one says Cardinals, one says Rams. Let's be honest. We're most likely playing Tampa Bay. That's the 5 out of 8 percentage wise. That's who we're playing. I know it's Tampa Bay. I know it's Tom Brady, defending champions and stuff like that. But the whole Antonio Brown situation just played out. Okay, so he's out. Chris Godwin towards ACL out. Leonard Fournette injured out. All right, who's to say? They just lost 3 of their best weapons offensively. Gone. Yeah, Scotty, I want Tampa Bay the least as well. But, there's controversy. You have Antonio Brown yesterday coming out and saying through his lawyer that doctors said he shouldn't have played, that people were saying he shouldn't have played, and the coach gave him the throat slash symbol on the sideline. I don't know who to believe. I know Antonio Brown's a head case, but Bruce Arians is an old school mentality football coach. I could totally see some of what Antonio Brown's saying as true. So that team is in turmoil right now. Yeah, you got the greatest quarterback, the greatest football player of all time leading your team, and he's led teams through controversy before. It ain't gonna. Yeah, I know. But I'm just trying to give you a scenario where it could potentially at least be close. And this week is where it starts. You got to stay healthy this week. You can't risk anything happening this week.
Look, so the team I'd want to face the most, I love to face Dallas week 1. I would love to face Dallas. The Bucks, again, just like what Scotty said over there, Brady at this time. Yeah, like you said, you might be able to sneak one out. But look at what Brady has dealt with before. And I know we had Belichick at head coach at the time when he was in New England. He had a great defense. Buccaneers still have a really good defense. His top receiver used to be Chris Hogan. And these type of guys, running backs that I don't even remember a New England running back at the time when Brady was there. And he was winning games. And he's still
Super Bowls.
Exactly. So I'm terrified of Brady in the playoffs. I want to face him at the least possible time. Let someone else.
Hold on. The Philadelphia Eagles are 1-1 against Tom Brady in the playoffs. So they have beaten Tom Brady in the playoffs before. He's only the Eagles one time in the playoffs before. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, and this team is probably even better than that New England team was when we beat them.
Yeah,
all right. So, Blunt was there, right? Blunt was there for a short. Yeah, he was there.
I'm just going to throw KC's comment up there. There's bad karma in Tampa right now. There absolutely is some bad karma going on over there right now. But then, as George says, Brady gets fired up by these things. So there's two sides of the equation there.
Yeah,
I get it. I'm not trying to convince you that the Eagles can win. I'm trying to convince you and everybody out there that's listening the best chance to have even a competitive outing against the Bradys. I call them the Bradys accidentally all the time. Playing the Bradys is by resting guys and not putting anybody at risk this week. I know it's Cowboys week. I hate the Cowboys more than anybody else, or as much as anybody else. But I don't care. I don't care about this week. I just don't.
Yeah, I really don't. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you there. The last team I also want to face.
This is a great comment from George. Let Dallas dismantle our practice squad, then go into overconfident. Yeah, I mean that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that 100%.
No, that's fine. I don't want to face the Rams. That is the last team I want to face right now.
Okay. I've heard some other people say that, even though the Rams have been,
they're on fire recently. They
only won like 2019 last week. So
yeah, I know, but they haven't lost. What are they, like 4-0 in the last 4 games? You
go against the Rams, you got to go up against Odell and Cup. Their running backs are getting healthy now.
Yeah, Cam Akers back.
Cardinals are playing terrible, but then they beat the Cowboys last week. So you just don't know there either. So how do you feel about the Rams? Yeah, I think he's
terrified.
He's scared.
I am terrified of the Rams. I'm hoping they can just get knocked out week 1 by whoever. This whole seed is just entirely crazy. Rams, the last team I'd want to face. Then the Buccaneers are the second to last team I want to face. I want to face Dallas. And I don't even know if there's a shot. Can we even face Arizona?
Yeah, there's like a 0.1% chance or something. It's slim, but there is a chance against them.
And there's a chance we face Arizona. I'd want them to. But I mean, as long as
there's a chance that we can basically face everybody. The Rams defense isn't very good against the run, which you wouldn't mind. Yeah, I mean, I would just be scared. Any team that's got Von Miller, Aaron Donald, and Ramsey on it,
it doesn't matter.
Stafford. I'm still going to say that Stafford's problems with Detroit were partly Detroit's fault, not giving them great team and great talent. But Matthew Stafford, if he's as elite as people say, elite quarterbacks elevate lesser players. You just mentioned Tom Brady elevating who? Hulk Hogan What was his name? I don't even remember what his real name was.
Chris Hogan.
Chris
Chris
Hogan, that's
Hogan,
right, yeah.
Wes Welker, all
Yeah.
these other.
Wes Welker was not even. I think he was a quarterback turned cornerback turned special teamers turned wide receiver, and Wes Welker is a borderline Hall of Famer now. It's insane what he could do to lesser talent. I don't know. I don't think we stand a chance at beating any of those teams.
Yeah,
like a real significant shot. We're the underdog against every one of those teams we could face.
Yeah, we are.
But being healthy, not getting more guys on COVID, not getting any more injuries, resting that ankle of Jalen Hurts, that puts us in the best position to win.
Look, something that I'm really scared of. All these teams are offensive heavy. They are going to score on us like it is absolutely nothing for them. Okay, yes, he did, Scotty. That's why I always remember Hogan.
What's his name again? Yeah. Hulk Hogan? Is it?
No, Chris Hogan. He's like a 5'10" white dude. It's him, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, them guys. But all these teams are offensive heavy, and this is what I've been talking about all season. We've been running the ball really well. This is when you can't run the ball as much. These teams are going to score on us, and we're going to have to score quick. We can't have these 10-minute drives or we're running the ball 15, 20 plays. You are not going to be able to do that. And you know what's going to happen? The ball is going to be in Jalen Hurts' hands. This is a huge test. I'm excited to see it, but we've seen a few tests before, and there's some worry there. He's a great game manager, like at the point where he hands the ball off, and then they're playing off the run. You're not going to be able to do that. I don't care how bad their run defenses are. The Rams have one of the best offenses in the league. They have an insane wide receiving group, a great quarterback, decent O-line with good running backs. Tampa Bay, you got Tom Brady. That's all you even really need to know. They're going to score on us like it's nothing. Dallas, I mean, come on now. Dak, Amari, CD, Cedric Wilson, even Zeke, Tony Pollard. All of these teams have insane offenses, and we're going to have to throw the ball. That's what's going to worry me a little bit. I'm not saying there's no chance we can't do it. I'm not saying that we can't do it. There's always a shot we can over here in Philly. So I'm excited to see it, but that's really what worries me.
I hope that team, that first game of the playoff, let's bust out those underdog masks again and start the underdog run again.
I think we need a song like we had in 2017. We had Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill. I think we need some sort of fight song for the Eagles. I don't know what it should be, but I think having that lit a spark under the team and all the fans. I mean, it was great. So I'm hoping we can have something like that this year.
Look, you can gain a lot. Just don't, like he just said, he doesn't want to, get blown out, and and George saying that, what Hurts really is. If we can keep it close and competitive against one of these obviously better teams, A, we go into the offseason feeling better about ourselves. B, we learn more about this team. You can learn more about a team in one playoff loss than 3 or 4 meaningless middle of the season wins.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I'm looking for in those games. What can we learn from them? And we just want to be competitive and be it. So if Jalen Hurts goes out and plays on Sunday or Saturday night, tweaks that ankle even more, and is at 70% for that playoff game, and he has a bad game, can we really say it was because he had a bad game or it was a bad game or because of the injury? So I want to be able to fully judge this team in that playoff game, and by being healthy, that's the key in my opinion right there.
No, I'm with you. That's a 100% great point.
I have 2 other reasons why I don't want the Eagles to play their starters. And I'm okay with them losing. I predicted 9-8 to start the season.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
And against everybody's judgment, even with the 17th game, I said Devontae Smith would not break Deshaun Jackson's rookie receiving record. And he's got like 872 or 875. So he only needs like 35, 40 more yards to break Deshaun Jackson's, rookie receiving record.
I don't care about that.
So that's 2 big bold predictions I made, the record and Devontae Smith. And them both sitting, him sitting and the Eagles losing away from my record, my predictions being accurate. So,
okay.
I only care about my predictions. Yeah. That's all that matters,
So this is all about you. So this is all about...
Yeah. I'm not queuing up excuses, George, about Jalen Hurts and everything. I'm just saying that there's a likelihood of people making excuses if they're at 100% or as close to 100% as you can be come the 19th week of football.
I can already hear the WIP host going, "Hey, but Jalen was at 70%, if he was 100%, who knows what could have happened?" I'm already waiting for that.
Or he'll be at 70% and they'll lose the game by 20. And the first poll question the Monday after the game will be, who would you rather have as your quarterback, Carson Wentz or Jalen Hurts?
I
hate it. I put it out there the other day on Twitter. Someone else was talking about, how bad Philly fans are. And I hate that lazy narrative. And I will campaign for the rest of my life to try to change that narrative because I hate it. I hate
Good
it.
luck with that.
I hate it. I know it's awful.
The media loves it too much.
Yeah. So one final football topic I want to talk about before we get off the air, and that's I thought I had it queued up on my screen here. I guess I don't have it. So I don't have the name now because I don't have it queued up on my screen anymore. I must have accidentally clicked it off. The Bears reporter that came out and said, "I will not vote for Aaron Rodgers as MVP because he's a bad guy and because he's a scumbag," or whatever word. I had the whole quote set up on my screen here. I don't have it right now. I cannot believe that these guys get these MVP awards or voting rights for these awards, and then they make political. It's not a political statement per se, but kind of sort of is like a statement. You make it personal, and it's what's wrong with voting in sports. Yeah, he should absolutely lose his vote for what he said, 110%. The problem is people in MVP votes, Hall of Fame ballot votes. Reporters are some of the worst people to have. Same thing happened with T.O. Reporters are the worst people in the world to have votes for important things like this because reporters are so biased all the time. It's insane.
Yeah. No.
And then you got guys like Ken Rosenthal who stood up for his opinion against the commission and got fired by MLB.com. So when you actually have, some integrity in your opinions, then you get fired for it. So it's like, voting systems for awards and for Hall of Fames and all these things need to change because reporters are just way, way too biased, and it ruins the voting. Because Aaron Rodgers is probably going to win the MVP. He most likely will. But, saying you're not going to vote for a guy because you don't like him, which, I read through the story, comes down to, he said it after the whole vaccination thing with Aaron Rodgers came out. And obviously this report then that means he's pro-vax. Rodgers is obviously not. It's embarrassing. The guy should not only lose his voting, but he should probably be fired for doing it.
No, yeah, I'm actually with you. These kind of things frustrate me so much, regardless of what you think, whether you are pro-vax or not pro-vax. This has nothing to do with that. It really doesn't. And this happens in all sports. I mean, just like you said with Ken Rosenthal, he is honestly just like he's someone that I've even looked up to so much. But Ken Rosenthal just standing up, voicing his opinion on just Rob Manfred, and MLB Network just says go away. Like Ken Rosenthal he's like the Adam Schefter of MLB. You know what I mean?
Like there with Jason Stark and Peter Gammons as elite reporters.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. Yeah, but that's really frustrating that that it comes down to this. I mean, if you are given the right to give a vote for the MVP, you should take that as the biggest compliment ever. And the fact that you will go out and not vote for someone because you don't like them, really, like you are disrespecting the right you are given for that.
Yeah, KC pulled up the quote. "I don't think you could be the biggest jerk in the league and punish your team and your organization and your fan base the way you did and be the most valuable player." His name's Arkush via Pro Football Talk. Yeah, exactly. Fire that guy. Fire that guy right now.
No, that's. I mean,
and I want to go back to Scotty's thing. I brought this up a year and a half ago on a show. Maybe it was during last year's Major League Baseball Hall of Fame voting.
We talked about it.
Hall of Fame voting. I don't know about. Maybe you could do the Hall of Fame voting for all awards, but Hall of Famers should vote for the other like the potential Hall of Famers. I'm way into this. I've said this before, Scotty. I love this idea, at least for the Hall of Fame itself.
Yeah,
110% on board with this call right here. Hall of Famers should be voting. People that know the game, former coaches. Well, actually, coaches have bias to an extent. Too. Everybody has some form of bias. But yeah,
right.
I don't know. The system has to change. Maybe, the same people shouldn't get the vote over and over again. Maybe the whoever chooses who gets the votes, for all these different awards and Hall of Fames should at least be checking in on these reporters for the things they say and hold against people throughout the season and then give it out. I don't know, but it's got to change because, this guy is choosing this moment to put his flag into the wrong thing. And he's going to lose a lot of credibility now because of it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So that's going to wrap up today's Trending in the AM right here on DSM Media, live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure you click follow on all those sites and subscribe on YouTube. We're slowly creeping every day, gaining a new follower on YouTube, slowly climbing on that road to 500. Make sure you do that. Click subscribe, and make sure you turn. Let's see what Scotty say here. Maybe pick a Hall of Famer from each team and have a panel of 32. Absolutely great idea. Absolutely great idea. Thank you for everybody tuning in on YouTube today. Great comments from everybody. I greatly appreciate all of them. Make sure you click that subscribe button, but also click the bell. Turn the notifications on so you know when DSM Media goes live. We're live, 15, 17 times a week. So make sure you click that subscribe button. And as always, we're brought to you by Manscaped, the leader in men's grooming products. Check them out, manscaped.com, and use promo code TRENDING at checkout for free shipping and 20% off. And stay tuned to the DSM. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because it's big today. The very big guest on Faithful Fanatics tonight, I believe it's 7 o'clock. The great Ty Johnson from WIP, producer of the Mike Missinelli Show. He's going to be with you guys, Faithful Fanatics, to talk. I'm assuming they're going to talk a lot of basketball tonight. Maybe they'll get a little football talk out of Ty as well. But a great guest, so you're not going to want to miss that show and that episode tonight at 7 o'clock right here on DSM Media. So make sure you click that subscribe button and turn those bells on so you know when we're live. Jeremy, it's been great to have you in the guest chair again today.
Always. Missed it.
Make sure you follow Jeremy at jhorworth11. I know he's got a new show coming out soon on DSM Media with George. And as always, I'm Phil Stifle, Beard of Knowledge on Twitter. I will interact with you if you follow me. Whatever you send me, I will respond. Everybody have a great day. We will talk to you tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. as always. Everybody have a great day, and we'll talk tomorrow.
Let's go Birds.
Go Birds.